Good morning. How we doing, Chemistry Rockstars? Couple of things we are going to go over now that you've seen both parts of the reaction rate lab. We are going to discuss what I want in the analysis, all typed up to make sure that you get all the points possible and understand how those factors been affecting things. First, let's do a timeline. So we're going to talk about the analysis today. It's Tuesday. The lab is going to be due on Friday, all parts of it that are required, which we'll talk about in a minute. Wednesday, tomorrow, is going to be a short quiz on reaction rate stuff. So what's a reaction rate? What's collision theory? What factors make things change? How do they make them change? You know, kind of deal. So you should be ready for that. And that'll be ready to go. And we'll explain that more. There will be a video explaining the quiz tomorrow morning of. Then we're going to move into the second half of this unit, which is equilibrium and reversible reactions. We'll spend a couple days on that Thursday, Friday. Next week on Monday, again, we'll have a lab kind of to watch for a day or so. And then we'll quiz exam, but we'll get this wrapped up in that first week of May, some point next week. We'll get this whole unit wrapped up, I think, and then move on to a different unit. Anyhow, so let's talk about the lab. One, what do you need in your write-up? Well, as it says in all our documents, anything with an asterisk. So you're going to title it. Then you're going to answer these pre-lab questions, which are really kind of defining questions. And it may be something that you want to do today as you're doing the analysis as preparation of using the notes and stuff to get ready for the quiz tomorrow. Okay. Again, you do not need to type up every one of these questions. You just need to type number one and answer it. Okay. Which has just got a couple fill in the blanks in appropriate order. So that's really it as far as that. So just number the pre-lab question, label it pre-lab, number the question, answer it up. You will need to include this data table with the time that we gave you correctly in it. Okay, part one, label it part one, get the data table in there. You will then want to have data table 2 for part 2, the temperature effect stuff. Okay. And then we get to the analysis. And really a lot of this analysis is just putting together a graph and analyzing the data to see if it fits with the theories that we believe about speeding up or slowing down, things with concentration and temperature. So you're going to have 2 graphs. Now, whether you do that by hand and upload it or do it by Excel and merge it into your document or some other thing that you do graphing with, that's fine. The first graph number 1, will be related to data table number 1. So again, part 1, label it nicely. Your volume goes on the x-axis. So that's going to be from 0 to 10, basically, although we don't have a 0. And the volume that is looking for is the volume of that substance. So for example, it says mixtures 1 through 4, plot the volume of solution A. So you initially had 10 milliliters of solution A. Then you had 7.5 milliliters. Then you had 5 milliliters. So as you are getting away from the first mixture, all you want is the actual milliliters of that compound, not the added water that we put in to bring it all up to 10. So, 2.5, 5, 7, whatever. Okay. So that's the x-axis, which is the volume. And then on the y-axis, you're going to have the time it took. So make sure you've got a range in seconds. I would bring it into seconds and just convert all your minutes into full seconds. And make sure you have a nice, even spaced out range for the seconds. And like in part 1, where are we at? In part 1, our longest period of time was 6 minutes and 10 seconds. So if you do the math, that's 360, 370 seconds. So that's the range you'll want on the y-axis. And then you're going to have to indicate your graph. You're really going to have two different best fit curve lines. I shouldn't say best fit, but as it says, it didn't say best fit curve, but a curve that tries to incorporate most of the points like a best fit line. Because your first four mixtures, you're plotting the volume of A, it's 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10 against time. And then for 5 through 7, you're going to be plotting C. So you'll want to make a indicator of which graph, which line on that graph is for solution A, whether that's different colors, different symbols, different whatever, with a key that lets me know. And then another one for 5 through 7. So I know that that's C again, C at 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10. And then you draw in, again, a best fit curve to kind of see how things go there. All right, so that's graph A, number 1. Graph 2 is a little bit simpler because it's really just temperature on the x-axis. So our range from 0 to whatever, and time again on the y-axis in seconds. Again, properly spaced out. And then you're just plotting, since you weren't changing anything, you're just plotting the temperature versus the time. And again, putting in a best fit curve to see how that works. So that's the graphs. And again, any questions on any of this, drop into any one of the office hours before it's due on Friday, and we can talk it through. Then you're analyzing the graph, and that's the conclusion. And this, while I bulleted this out, do not write bullet points. Remember, a conclusion is always a paragraph. And I gave you some leading questions here. What was your purpose? How did your purpose work out? You know, how did the data and stuff support your purpose, your analysis of the graphs? Did it work out the way you thought it would, or thought it should or shouldn't? Include data from the graph to discuss that stuff, and then possibilities of error, and then a quick summary. So, you know, what did you find? How does changing concentration and stuff? Analyze the variable, use the data as evidence to support your statement, discuss everything in terms of collision theory. More concentration, less concentration, more temperature, less temperature with collision theory, and the chance of reaching activation energy and going forward. And then what possible errors could have affected the experiment as you watched it, and then an overall summary. So again, remember, conclusions are always a paragraph. They are not to just be bullet points doing a quick shot, okay? All that gets typed up, incorporated, and uploaded when I open it up to that lab, again, due on Friday. And then quiz tomorrow. So, you know, writing up the lab is going to be a great study besides going back into the data, into the previous notes film, and making sure you make some notes on definitions and application. And I'm going to say that again. Applying the factors, not just saying hotter temperature makes it faster, whatever. Being able to apply that and explain it by collision theory. You know, what does it mean for getting to the appropriate energy level and orientation and stuff, okay? So that's the analysis. And again, if you have any questions, drop in office hours. But that's what we know for today. So I would work on that and then prepare for the quiz tomorrow. Anyhow, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day.